not all methods are created equal. A manual white box security assessment entails a high level of collaboration between us and the customer. They're providing all kinds of access to design documents, to engineers, to source code. They're helping us understand workflows, user provisioning. They're helping us understand authentication models and authorization models. And the reason is not only will we be able to understand the technology, but we can understand the business around the technology. And when you can understand those things, now you can actually fix the problems that you find. This is drawn in stark contrast to what's known as a black box methodology. Black box entails little or no collaboration. No access to design documents, no access to source code, no access to engineers. Now, the reason that a company would want to pursue this type of methodology is because of the way that they think about it. Their thinking is that the attacker doesn't have access to those things. They certainly don't have access to design documents or source code. So let's have someone emulate that position and see what happens, see if they can get in. But there's a fatal flaw in that thinking. If you find issues, it does not mean you found all the issues. If you don't find issues, it doesn't mean they don't exist. And of the issues that you find, you can't fix them. You don't know how the system works, so you can't advocate for how to fix it. A customer of ours is one of the largest chipset manufacturers in the world. And they recently approached us asking us to do a black box assessment for them. Well, I was a little bit puzzled by this request because virtually everything we do for them is of a white box variety. And so I pushed back on my contact over there and said, why the change? Why do you want to approach the assessment in this way? He said, well, first of all, Ted, I want to do a white box assessment. I want to actually really understand the problem so I can fix them. That's my mission. He said, but here's my problem. My boss's boss, he promised to his boss that he would deliver a black box assessment. I don't know if he knew what he was asking for or not, but the point is he has political capital invested in this commitment. He can't not do it, and thus I cannot fail to deliver it to him. I paused and thought a little bit about this challenge because it was a really interesting one. It's not unique to this particular company. It's something that all large organizations face. The idea that sometimes you have to make a trade-off between a political priority and the priority that's what's best for the organization. But it's also what I love about what we get to do. Undeniably, people are hiring us to help them solve their technical challenges. But we also get to help them solve their business challenges. So as I reflected on how to help this individual accomplish both his security mission as well as the political mission, it dawned on me the idea that maybe we should roll out. And so here's what we did. We agreed to do both, a black box and a white box assessment. We decided to allocate equal amounts of effort to both and look at the same system with both. That would help my contact get what he needed from a security perspective, and it would help his boss's boss get what he needed from a political perspective. Well, the data was unbelievably compelling. We allocated about 200 man-hours for each portion, the black box and the white box. In the black box portion, we found 4 security vulnerabilities. But here's what's interesting about those 4. Of the 4, 2 of them the customer already knew about. All that time, all that effort, all that money was completely of no value. They would have been better off literally lighting the money on fire. At least that way they would have had a fun story out of it. The third issue was a misunderstanding by us of how the system worked. Remember, in black box, you don't know how the system works. Well, the fourth issue was a legitimate, valid, previously unknown, and critical security vulnerability. So the customer got tremendous value out of that finding. However, because it was black box, we didn't know how the system worked, so we couldn't articulate how to fix it. So in summary, 200 man-hours, 1 issue, no solutions. Then we moved into the white box portion. 200 man-hours, looking at the same system, but rather than 1 vulnerability, we found 21 previously unknown critical security vulnerabilities on the same system. And for each one of those issues, we found at least 1 mitigating strategy, and in some cases more than 1. Instead of 200 man-hours for 1 issue and no solutions, 200 man-hours meant 21 issues and 21 solutions. The data is unbelievably compelling to make the point: method matters.